My beloved soul, listen carefully. Tonight is not ordinary. And if your heart felt a sudden stillness the moment you saw this title, that was not coincidence. That was recognition. Something unseen has been moving around your life, quietly, faithfully, without announcement. And heaven has decided, this is the moment you become aware of it. There is someone whose prayers have been rising for you when you were asleep. Someone who has spoken your name to God more times than you realize. And they did it without expecting anything in return. This message is not here to rush you. It is here to reveal. What has been hidden is not hidden because it was wrong. It was hidden because it was sacred. My beloved soul, before you sleep tonight, your spirit needed to hear this. Because silence does not mean absence, and distance does not mean disinterest. There are connections that grow stronger in quiet places, and this is one of them. You may have felt unexplained warmth, random peace, or a sudden emotional softness lately, and you wondered where it came from. It came from intercession. It came from someone choosing you in prayer before choosing you in words. There is a reason this admirer has remained unseen, because they are not chasing attention. They are honoring timing. They have watched you from a respectful distance, not through obsession, but through care. They have noticed your strength on days you thought you were barely surviving. And instead of approaching you prematurely, they knelt. They asked God to protect you, to heal you, to guide you, even when they had no guarantee they would ever be part of your future. This kind of devotion is rare, and heaven does not ignore it. If you feel a gentle pull in your chest right now, do not dismiss it. My beloved soul, do not skip this moment, because what is being revealed is not just about someone else's feelings. It is about your worth being seen without performance. You have been loved quietly, not because you demanded it, but because you inspired it by simply being who you are. There were moments you felt unseen, moments you questioned if anyone truly understood your heart. Yet in those same moments, prayers were being whispered for you. Someone asked God to ease your burdens when you never told anyone how heavy they were. Someone thanked God for your existence when you were doubting your own value. This admirer did not rush to claim you because they wanted to approach you whole, healed, and honorable. They chose patience over possession, prayer over pressure. My beloved soul, this is not a story of fantasy. This is a revelation of maturity. God is not showing you this to create longing, but to create peace, to let you know you were never forgotten, never overlooked, never walking alone. As you listen, allow your shoulders to relax. Allow your breathing to soften, because this message is not asking you to act. It is asking you to receive. Someone has been standing in the spiritual gap for you, covering you in ways you could not see. They have asked God to align their steps with yours, only if it was meant. And if not, they still asked God to bless you anyway. That is the kind of prayer that changes timelines. Stay with me till the end. Something powerful is waiting for you, because the silence you misunderstood was actually preparation. This admirer has watched your journey from afar, not intruding, not demanding access, but learning your heart through observation and prayer. They noticed how you give without expecting, how you stay kind even when disappointed, how you choose dignity over drama. Instead of approaching you with empty words, they approached God with sincerity. There were nights they felt the urge to message you, to reveal themselves, but something within them said, "Not yet. Let God finish what He is doing in them first." This restraint is not fear, it is reverence. My beloved soul, God is revealing this now because you are ready to understand it without attachment or anxiety. Earlier, you might have mistaken this energy as loneliness, but it was actually space being made for something intentional. You have been protected from rushed connections, from shallow intentions, from people who only wanted the surface of you. This admirer saw the depth and chose to go deeper themselves before ever coming near you. They have prayed for your peace more than for your presence. Let that settle into your spirit. You are not late, and neither are they. Divine timing does not shout, it whispers. This message comes before sleep, because rest is when the soul receives truth without resistance. Do not leave yet. Heaven has more to reveal, because this connection is not built on fantasy. It is built on alignment. God has been working on both sides, quietly removing fear, healing old wounds, reshaping expectations. That is why it has taken time. That is why silence was necessary. The prayers you did not hear still worked. The love you did not see still covered you. My beloved soul, there is no need to search, no need to force clarity, because what is meant to be revealed will arrive gently without confusion. Tonight, allow this knowing to comfort you. You are cherished beyond visibility. You are prayed for beyond proximity. You are honored beyond words. And as you carry this awareness into sleep, let go of every doubt that told you you were alone. You were never alone. You were being held in prayer. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything. Because this revelation is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of trust. Before you sleep, let your heart whisper thank you. Not to a person, but to God who saw the quiet love surrounding you and decided you were ready to know. As this awareness settles deeper, understand that what God is revealing now is not meant to disturb your peace, but to stabilize it. There are connections that arrive loudly, demanding attention. And there are connections that grow silently, demanding nothing, not yet shaping everything. This admirer belongs to the second kind. They have learned your energy without touching it, learned your heart without entering it, learned your pain without questioning it. In a world where people rush to be seen, they chose to remain unseen because their intention was never possession. It was protection. My beloved soul, the prayers offered for you were not generic or vague. They were specific, detailed, spoken with reverence. On days you felt unusually calm after chaos, that calm was borrowed from someone else's faith. On nights you slept deeply after weeks of restlessness, that rest was covered by intercession. There were moments when something harmful almost reached you but didn't. When a wrong decision suddenly felt wrong at the last second, when a delay saved you from regret. Those moments were not accidents. Someone asked God to place a shield around you when you were too tired to pray for yourself. This admirer never tried to interfere with your free will. They did not ask God to force you toward them. Instead, they asked God to shape them into someone worthy of you, even if that meant never being chosen. That kind of prayer refines a soul. My beloved soul, do not skip this moment, because this revelation is teaching you how love can exist without demand. You may have been conditioned to believe that love must always announce itself, prove itself, chase loudly, but heaven operates differently. The purest intentions often move quietly because they are not driven by fear of loss. This admirer trusted God with the outcome. They trusted that if the connection was meant to unfold, it would do so naturally without manipulation or pressure. That trust has been maturing them, softening their ego, strengthening their character. You are not being shown this to create anticipation, but to dissolve doubt. The feeling that no one truly sees you has been lifted because someone has been seeing you all along from a distance that respected your healing. They noticed how you rebuilt yourself after disappointment, how you learned to smile without bitterness, how you chose growth instead of resentment. And instead of stepping in prematurely, they stepped back and prayed harder. There were seasons when they felt close to revealing themselves, when circumstances aligned just enough to make it tempting, but something within them whispered, patience. They understood that love revealed too early can become a distraction, and love revealed too late can become regret. But love revealed at the right moment becomes peace. Stay with me till the end, something powerful is waiting for you. Because the silence you experienced was not emotional absence. It was spiritual discipline. God has been teaching both of you restraint, discernment, and trust. You were learning to stand whole without needing validation, and they were learning to love without needing recognition. This is why the connection feels different. It is not rooted in fantasy or urgency. It is rooted in stability. My beloved soul, reflect on the times you felt unexpectedly supported, even when no one showed up physically. Reflect on the moments when you felt guided away from harm toward clarity. Those were answers to prayers you did not hear being spoken. This admirer has been consistent in prayer, not only when they felt hopeful, but even when they felt discouraged. They did not stop praying for you when their own life became heavy. They did not blame you for delays or distance. They trusted that God sees the full picture. This level of emotional maturity is rare, and it is why God is careful with its timing. Heaven does not rush what is meant to last. My beloved soul, do not leave yet. Heaven has more to reveal because there is something important you must understand. This admirer is not perfect, but they are intentional. They have been working through their own insecurities, past wounds and fears, so that they do not bring unhealed parts into your space. They did not want to approach you with confusion, mixed motives, or emotional dependency. They wanted to be clear, grounded, and honest. That is why their prayers included self-correction, humility, and surrender. They asked God to remove any selfish desire from their heart, any illusion, any expectation that did not align with love. This process takes time, and it explains the delay you felt without understanding. My beloved soul, the quiet devotion surrounding you is meant to restore your faith in unseen goodness. You may have encountered people who spoke beautifully but acted inconsistently, who promised presence but delivered absence. This admirer chose the opposite. They delivered presence in the spiritual realm before ever attempting it in the physical. They showed up in prayer before showing up in your life. This foundation matters more than you know. It sets a tone of respect that cannot be faked. As you hold this awareness, notice how your body relaxes, how your heart softens instead of racing. That is how you know this revelation is aligned. It does not create anxiety, it creates calm. My beloved soul, if you remain till the end, the final word will change everything. Because this is not about waiting for someone to appear. It is about recognizing that you have been valued without being consumed, loved without being controlled, honored without being claimed. That knowing changes how you move forward. It restores dignity to your expectations. It teaches you that the right connection does not drain you, it steadies you. Tonight, let this truth settle gently. You are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are not unchosen. You have been prayed for in silence. And heaven does not reveal such things unless they are meant to bring peace, not pressure. As this understanding deepens, there is another layer God wants you to feel rather than analyze. Because this connection has never been about curiosity. It has been about alignment. What has been forming around you quietly is not fragile, it is deliberate. This admirer did not simply pray out of emotion. They prayed out of responsibility. They sensed that your life carries weight, that your heart holds depth, and that entering your space casually would be careless. So they chose the long way, the way that refines intention. My beloved soul, there were moments when you questioned why meaningful connections felt delayed, why shallow ones appeared easily while depth seemed distant. This was not punishment, it was protection. God was filtering access to you while shaping someone who would not mishandle what you carry. The silence was not emptiness, it was incubation. In that time, you were learning to listen to your intuition, to trust your discernment, to value peace over intensity. At the same time, this admirer was learning to love without entitlement, to admire without expectation, to hope without attachment. These lessons cannot be rushed. They are formed through stillness, through unanswered questions, through surrender. There were nights when this admirer wrestled with doubt, when they wondered if their prayers mattered, if loving quietly made sense in a world that rewards boldness. Yet each time they chose faith over fear. They chose to believe that if something is real, it does not need force. That belief shaped their character. My beloved soul, do not skip this moment, because understanding this changes how you interpret your past. The confusion you felt was not because something was wrong with you. It was because something sacred was forming beyond your awareness. You were never meant to chase this connection. It was always meant to meet you where you are whole and steady. God has been teaching you how to be content without knowing everything, how to trust without constant reassurance. That trust is now being honored with revelation. The admirer's prayers were not only about union. They were about your purpose, your peace, your protection. They asked God to surround you with clarity, to remove distractions that would pull you away from yourself. That is why some people faded without explanation, why some doors closed without drama. Those endings were answers to prayers you did not hear. Stay with me till the end. Something powerful is waiting for you, because the meaning of this revelation goes deeper than romance. It is about how heaven responds to quiet devotion. This admirer never tried to interfere with your lessons. They understood that growth cannot be outsourced. They prayed for you to learn what you needed to learn, even when that meant enduring discomfort. They trusted that whatever made you stronger would also make you clearer about what you deserve. That kind of prayer is selfless. It does not seek shortcuts. My beloved soul, consider how different this feels from connections rooted in urgency. There is no pressure here, no timeline being imposed, no demand for response. This revelation does not pull you out of yourself. It draws you deeper into calm awareness. That is how you know it is aligned. God does not reveal things to destabilize you. He reveals them to anchor you. This admirer's silence was not absence, it was discipline. They chose to master their impulses rather than be ruled by them. They wanted to approach you from a place of clarity, not craving. This required them to confront their own fears, their past disappointments, their tendency to rush. In prayer, they learned patience. In patience, they learned trust. My beloved soul, do not leave yet. Heaven has more to reveal, because there is a reason you are receiving this before sleep. Nighttime is when the soul is most honest, when defenses soften, when truth can enter without resistance. God wants this awareness to rest in you gently, not as excitement, but as reassurance. You do not need to imagine who this admirer is, or when they will appear. That curiosity will unfold naturally. What matters now is what this knowing heals within you. It heals the wound of feeling unseen. It heals the doubt that told you love must always be loud to be real. It heals the fear that silence means disinterest. You are learning that some hearts speak to God before they speak to people. This understanding elevates your expectations without hardening your heart. My beloved soul, the admirer has been watching how you honor yourself, how you walk away from what drains you, how you no longer settle for confusion. They have respected your boundaries even before they were invited into your space. They did not try to bypass your growth. They allowed it. That respect is foundational. It creates safety before intimacy. As you absorb this, notice how there is no rush to act, no urge to change anything immediately. That stillness is intentional. God is aligning timing, not forcing outcomes. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything, because this revelation is not a promise of immediacy. It is a promise of integrity. You are being shown that someone chose to honor you in private before honoring you in public, to protect your peace before pursuing your presence. This changes how you rest tonight. You can release the need to question your worth. You can release the anxiety of wondering if love will find you. It already has in prayer, in silence, in patience. Let this truth settle into your spirit like a calm tide, steady and unshakable, preparing you for what will unfold naturally, without strain, without confusion, in its appointed time. As this truth continues to unfold within you, there is a gentler but deeper invitation being offered. An invitation to reinterpret silence, not as uncertainty, but as intention. What God is revealing now is meant to recalibrate how you feel safety and connection. The admirer who has been praying for you did not only pray for your future with them, they prayed for your present without them. That distinction matters. It means they did not see you as incomplete or waiting, but as whole and worthy right where you are. My beloved soul, this kind of love does not arise from lack. It arises from recognition. They recognize something steady in you, something that did not need to be rescued or fixed, something that deserved to be approached with care. That is why they did not rush forward when attraction stirred. They paused, they listened, they asked God to reveal their own motives before ever revealing their feelings. In that pause, God began reshaping them. Old patterns of impulsiveness were softened. The need to be chosen quickly was replaced with the desire to be right. This inner work was not easy. There were moments when they questioned whether remaining silent meant losing their chance. Yet each time peace returned when they chose patience. My beloved soul, do not skip this moment, because what you are being shown is the anatomy of mature love. It does not demand constant reassurance. It does not collapse under uncertainty. It trusts that what is meant will not be missed. While you were learning to stand firm in your own boundaries, they were learning to respect them without resentment. While you were healing from past misunderstandings, they were unlearning the urge to explain themselves prematurely. This parallel growth is not coincidence, it is alignment. God has been synchronizing lessons even in distance. You may recall moments when you felt guided to choose rest instead of engagement, solitude instead of distraction. Those choices protected your clarity. The admirer's prayer supported those choices, even when it meant remaining unseen. They asked God to strengthen you, not to soften you for them. That prayer alone speaks volumes. Stay with me till the end. Something powerful is waiting for you, because there is another truth that must settle in gently. The silence you experienced was not a void. It was a container. It held intention, restraint, and reverence. In that space, expectations were purified. Fantasies were replaced with realism. The admirer did not idealize you beyond humanity. They saw your imperfections and did not try to correct them. They saw your strength and did not feel threatened by it. Instead, they asked God to help them meet you with humility. This humility is why heaven has honored their prayers. God does not entrust deep connections to careless hands. He waits until both hearts can hold weight without breaking. My beloved soul, reflect on how your desires have matured over time. You no longer crave intensity for its own sake. You crave peace, consistency, sincerity. This shift did not happen by accident. It prepared you to recognize quiet devotion without mistaking it for indifference. The admirer sensed this change in you. They felt when your energy became more settled, more self-assured. That is when their prayers deepened, not intensified, but clarified. They began praying not for signs, but for wisdom. They asked God to remove any impulse that would disrupt your peace. That request alone delayed their actions but strengthened their intentions. My beloved soul, do not leave yet. Heaven has more to reveal, because this connection is not built on longing. It is built on readiness. Readiness does not announce itself loudly. It shows up as calm discernment. You are being given the gift of understanding without pressure. This knowledge does not require you to change your behavior or search for answers. It simply asks you to rest in the awareness that you have been considered deeply and respectfully. There is safety in that. The admirer's silence was never meant to confuse you. It was meant to protect both of you from premature exposure. God knows how easily something sacred can be distorted when revealed too early. That is why timing matters more than intensity. My beloved soul, the peace you feel now is confirmation. True revelation does not agitate the spirit, it settles it. As this settles, you may notice a softening toward the unknown, a release of urgency around outcomes. That release is healing. It restores trust in divine pacing. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything, because this part of the message is not about waiting for someone to step forward. It is about understanding that love has already been present in the most responsible form it could take at the time. You were not ignored, you were honored, you were not delayed, you were protected. This knowing allows you to rest tonight without questioning your path. Whatever unfolds next will unfold naturally, without force, without fear. And when silence eventually gives way to clarity, it will feel familiar, not startling, because it was rooted in prayer, long before it reached your awareness. As this message reaches its completion, allow it to land softly, not as a conclusion that closes something, but as a settling that grounds you. What has been revealed was never meant to pull you into anticipation, but to anchor you in trust. The admirer who has been praying for you did not do so to create a future fantasy, but to honor a present truth. That truth is simple and profound. You are worthy of love that is careful. You are worthy of devotion that does not rush to consume, but chooses to preserve. My beloved soul, this awareness comes now because you are able to receive it without losing yourself inside it. Earlier versions of you might have turned this knowledge into questions, into searching, into restlessness. This version of you can hold it with calm. That growth matters. It shows heaven that your heart is no longer desperate for proof, but open to alignment. The silence that once felt heavy now feels meaningful because you understand its purpose. It kept you grounded. It protected you from attaching your value to someone else's timing. It allowed you to become steady within yourself. The admirer's prayer supported this steadiness. They did not pray for you to need them. They prayed for you to be whole, even if that meant standing alone. That is not the prayer of fear. That is the prayer of respect. My beloved soul, as you prepare to rest, release the need to know details. You do not need to identify who this person is, when they will appear, or how the story unfolds. Those things will reveal themselves naturally without effort when alignment is complete. For now, what matters is what has been restored within you. Your faith in unseen goodness has been strengthened. Your understanding of love has been refined. You are no longer measuring connection by noise or speed, but by peace and intention. That shift will guide you safely. Stay with me till the end. Something powerful is waiting for you, because this final truth is meant to stay with you beyond tonight. Love that begins in prayer does not arrive to disrupt your life. It arrives to fit into it seamlessly. It does not demand that you shrink or perform. It recognizes you as you are and meets you there. This is why there is no urgency attached to this message. Urgency belongs to fear. This belongs to trust. As you lay down, let your breathing slow. Let your thoughts soften. Allow gratitude to rise, not toward a person, but toward the divine care that surrounded you, even when you were unaware of it. You have been held in consideration, covered in quiet intention, and protected from what was not ready to hold you properly. My beloved soul, this knowing is enough for now. It does not require action. It does not require response. It only asks you to rest in the assurance that your life is being guided with precision and care. What is meant for you will not arrive abruptly or confusingly. It will come with familiarity, with steadiness, with peace that feels earned rather than forced. And when the silence finally transforms into clarity, you will recognize it not as something new, but as something that was always present, simply waiting for the right moment to be seen. Let this truth accompany you into sleep. Nothing more is required tonight. Type, Amen.